They always say there are risks with late-age pregnancies, don't they? Like the child might end up less intelligent? There's no way I can raise a failed child. We are getting a divorce. If you want to give birth, you raise a kid on your own. In stark contrast to my joy of being pregnant, my husband spouted these words. In the end, to my husband, wife and child were nothing more than accessories to his life. If he deemed there to be a defect in that accessory, he wouldn't hesitate to throw it away. Fast forward 30 years. When my ex-husband met his daughter, who was born safely and grew up healthy, he looked like he was seeing something unbelievable. What? Your daughter is? No way. It's a lie, right? My name is Harper. My life hasn't had any notable events, and the days I have spent were quite ordinary. I was born to very ordinary parents and followed a conventional path to get a job. However, I did fairly well in my studies and was able to go to university with high deviation scores. I can't thank my parents enough for allowing me to go to university. Even in these times of recession, I was lucky enough to get a job at a well-known major company. I've been working hard to show my gratitude to my parents. Before I knew it, I was already 30. I started to think about getting married soon. On one such day, Harper, I like you. Please go out with me. The one who confessed to me was my coworker, John, who was 26 years old and started working at this office after me. I once asked him, why me, who is older? You're kind, capable at work, and intelligent, Harper. I can't find a flaw in you. You're amazing. He could not have been more complimentary about me. And after dating for a year, we got married when I was 31. We were hoping for a child and lived our married life with that intention. And I had even changed my job so that I could have a child at any time. But as the years quickly passed by, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, we were never able to have a child. I thought we should just give up on having a child and enjoy life as a couple. Just as I turned 41, I heard a surprising fact from the doctor. Congratulations, you're pregnant. Unbelievably, I heard the words I'd been longing for 10 years on my birthday. As soon as John came home, I told him with joy, but his reaction was unexpected. Are you serious? Pregnant? Now of all times? The words John spoke were completely opposite to my joy. Huh? Aren't you happy, John? There's no way I'll be happy now. I don't want to say it, but how old do you think you are? You are 41. You are practically an old woman. He says, with an exasperated tone and a sigh. Giving birth at your age, aren't you embarrassed? Plus, it's late-age pregnancy. Why would I feel embarrassed? There's no reason to be embarrassed. I'm embarrassed and I don't like it. My wife being pregnant at 41, it's going to ruin my reputation. And then, he kept saying unbelievable things. They always say there are risks with late-age pregnancies, don't they? Like the child might end up less intelligent? There's no way I can raise a failed child. Even so, I want to have this child. Oh, really? In that case, we are getting a divorce. If you want to give birth, you raise a kid on your own. At John's words, my mind went blank, and I stood there stunned. The next day, the divorce papers were ready, and they were already signed. He was serious, not joking. I made a huge decision. Okay, I understand. Let's get divorced. I, who desperately wanted to have a child, decided to divorce John. As I filled out the divorce papers, he began to grumble. I'll tell you, because we are getting divorced. The reason I married you was that you were the most educated woman in our workplace. I thought that if I married you, I'd have a smooth sailing married life. But I never thought you'd be this stupid. He had a tendency for educational elitism, wanting to increase his value by marrying someone intelligent. I was shocked to learn my husband's thoughts for the first time after 10 years of marriage. Since you are the one deciding to have the baby, you get the custody. I have no intention of paying child support or seeing the child. I don't want anything to do with you and your failed child for the rest of my life. All right. I didn't expect it to become such a hassle. If I'd known, I wouldn't have married you. It would be better for the child not to know about such a despicable father from the beginning. I don't even want to take his dirty money, and I even felt gratitude for John's statement that he had no intention of seeing the child. I decided to happily accept all of his proposals. After the divorce, I returned to my parents' home and managed to give birth safely with the help of my parents and others around me. My beautiful daughter had such beautiful eyes that I named her Iris. I was a little worried about the risks of late-age childbirth that John mentioned, but Iris grew up healthy and without any problems. She's strong and excels in sports. Her intellect surpasses even mine. The most wonderful thing is her kind heart, capable of considering others. She's a daughter too good for me, to the point I want to boast about her. To me, who's living a peaceful life with Iris, I feel truly fortunate to have been able to part ways with John. Before I knew it, I had completely forgotten about him and was living my daily life. After 30 years of divorcing him, one day, could it be Harper? John? We unexpectedly ran into each other at the largest general hospital in the county. I noticed John carrying some items, possibly for a patient visit, while I was clad in a patient's gown. He was surprised to find me at first, but when he recognized me, who was wearing a hospital gown, he laughed sneeringly. Huh? You are hospitalized? I don't know what disease you have, but you are not okay, right? Can a jobless daughter's mother afford the hospital bills? What are you talking about? Well, you gave birth after we divorced, right? It's known that the children won't grow up properly if the mother is old. It must be tough if your daughter is still unemployed at 30. Plus, you're hospitalized. Your life's a mess. Immediately upon our reunion, he insulted me and referred to our daughter, Iris, as a slow. Has he not changed at all over these 30 years? I was astounded to find that not only had he not changed, but he seemed to have gotten worse. I remarried soon after with a young, beautiful woman 20 years my junior. You see, a woman's appearance is more important than her educational background. My son takes after his mother. He's so handsome. People say he's got a future in showbiz. Without waiting for my response, he continued his bragging. I got promoted to section chief after divorcing you. When I was with you, I was stuck at the team leader level. leaving you was the right decision. After our divorce, everything started going well for me. Is that so? Well, good for you. If we hadn't divorced, I would have ended up taking care of a sick wife and a jobless daughter. I'm really glad. I was so astounded by his words that I fell silent. I knew that my silence would only make him more audacious, yet arguing with someone as low as him would feel as if I was stooping to his level, so I held my tongue. Just then, someone spoke up. "Man, what's going on? Are your tests done?" "Huh? Man? Wait, don't tell me." A woman doctor appeared before me and spoke. It was my daughter, Iris. "Oh, Iris. This man is..." I was uncertain about how to explain John's presence to Iris, our daughter. In our lives, he had become non-existent. Iris had never even met him before. Yet, as if sensing something, she stared sharply at John. "Even from a distance, I could hear you two talking. This is supposed to be a quiet place. I kind of figured out that this man is my biological father. You are John, aren't you? I can't believe you are my father." "Huh? Iris? How do you know about him?" "Also, I have no direct involvement with him. He's quite infamous in the hospital. His son is hospitalized with diabetes, yet he completely ignores the doctor's advice and brings in outside food. His wife also causes all sorts of problems. It's really been a handful." As a result of her hard work, Iris became a respectable internist. She's known in and out of the county as a skilled female doctor. On the other hand, there is John's son. His story is quite far removed from his bragging just a while ago. His face is shaking and turning bright red. "Wait, didn't you say your son was going to enter the entertainment industry?" "If he improves, anything is possible. My son, he just loves to eat, that's all." Iris sighed at his words. Could you please throw away the food you are holding? It contains sweets and sweet drinks, right? John, if you don't follow our instructions any further, the hospital will have to consider its response. If you are my daughter, you should be able to cure my son. You are a doctor, aren't you?" No. Even if you suddenly tell me I'm your daughter, it's honestly a nuisance. You are simply the father of a patient. Of course, you are neither more nor less than that. Rejected by his daughter, John's face turned even redder with anger. "Just because you became a doctor doesn't mean you can act all high and mighty. Who do you think you are?" Yes? "I'm a section chief in a big company. A defective child is now a doctor, and so what?" It seems like he is unconsciously showing off his pitiful state in his competition with Iris. He wants to make it clear that his position is above hers and make her comply. It's a low-level tactic, just as he used to. "Harper, you are an old hag who needs to be hospitalized, and you've been single ever since I dumped you, right? You've never been able to beat me, neither in the past nor now. You are such a loser." John laughs coarsely. However, he's made a couple of misunderstandings, so annoying as it is, I decided to correct him. "I'm sorry, John. I may not meet your expectations, but I'm wearing this hospital gown for a health check, not because I'm a patient. Besides, the reason I'm having a checkup is at the suggestion of my husband, the hospital director. Huh? Husband? Director? What? You're lying, right? John lets out a dumbfounded voice. To tell the truth, my husband is the director of this hospital. After the divorce, I immediately found a new job, of course, to support Iris. At the medical equipment manufacturer where I got my new job, I met my current husband and remarried. Despite being a stepdaughter, my husband doted on Iris very much. She grew attached to him and resolved to become a fine doctor like her father, which made her study hard. And she made her dream a reality and now works at my husband's hospital. You are lying. You remarried and your husband is a director and your daughter is a doctor. Why are you living a more blessed life than me? You of all people. Perhaps realizing that he's been completely knocked out, John mutters to himself while looking down. Mom, let's go. It's a waste of time to stay here. Huh? But John, just leave him alone. We have nothing to do with that man. He was left alone by his own daughter, unable to move from the spot. Later, an event occurred that added insult to injury. His wife caused a big fuss in the hospital. Doctors told her, "This is beyond the limit, please stop." Apparently, she went on a rampage, resentful of being severely warned about bringing in food and drinks. The nurse who stepped in to stop her ended up injured, and the hospital took the incident seriously and forced his son to leave. In the end, no hospital would take in his son, and it seemed they had no choice but to provide home treatment. Even though he was forced to leave the hospital, John's son didn't change his lifestyle, so his condition worsened. One day, John suddenly came to Iris and seemed to have pleaded, "Please, help me." But she, "Why do I have to help someone I don't know?" "I am your father. You don't know me?" "What are you talking about? My father is the director of that hospital. You've been denying it since before I was born, and even when you reunited with my mother at the hospital. Don't make me laugh. Father? Really, you should be ashamed of yourself." It seemed that Iris completely rejected him. The son's medical bills are draining his savings, and his indulgent wife is not willing to cooperate. His family will fall apart if this continues. The reason why I know so much about this is because John came to negotiate directly with our family and talked non-stop about things I didn't want to hear. But my husband, the hospital director, interrupted John's talk. "Get out now. I'm going to call the police." Upon hearing this, John changed his attitude from the one who had been shouting so far and ran out of the house. By the way, the result of my health checkup was there was no problem. I was worried about my age, but I think it's thanks to my husband, the director, and my excellent daughter. I'm able to live a happy and healthy life every day because of them. Life is unpredictable. I want to make choices so that I don't regret them when the time comes. I think the decision I made that day and the path I chose were the right choices and the best decision for me.